Hi, namaste. This year for the Bommala Koluvu theme, we have like Shiva Puranam. I have like parts from Shiva Puranam, Linga Puranam, and Vishnu Puranam. So I'll start with the Hindu Dharma. So Hinduism is not really a religion; it is a way of living. Then how a Hindu should lead their life is described clearly in Vedas. And then Vyasa Maharshi, he is the one who organized all the Vedas, Upanishads, and in Mahapuranams. From Vyasa Maharshi, Suta Mahamuni, he got all the knowledge. And then during Satrayagam in Naimisharanya, so every day evening they used to do the Purana Kalakshepam. And then Shiva Puranam, Linga Puranam, Vishnu Puranam, and all Mahapuranams, they were narrated by Suta Maharshi to everyone. And then in 8th century, Adi Shankaracharya, during that period, there were like a lot of religious conflicts within Hinduism. And then Adi Shankaracharya, he read all Vedas at a very young age. And then he met with all different religious spiritual leaders from different Hindu groups. And then they all came to an agreement. And then the Shanmata has formed. So as per Adi Shankaracharya, we have like Shanmata, which is like 6 matas, and then Shaivam, which is like Shiva is treated as a Parabrahmam, and then Ganapachyam is Ganesha is treated as Parabrahmam. Kaumara is like Subramanya Swami is treated as the Parabrahmam, and then Shaktyam is the Adishakti, and then Surya, and then Vaishnava. So today we are talking about Shiva Puranam. So we are assuming that like Shiva is the Parabrahmam, and then in general Shiva is worshipped in 4 different forms. There are other different forms, but these are the major ones. The first one is as a Somaskandha, as a Shiva as a family, Shiva Kutumbam, and then Dakshinamurti is the Adi Guru, and then Kala Bhairava, and then Nataraja Swami. So these are the 4 forms that we see usually. And then now we'll move on to the Linga Purana. So as per Linga Purana, one day Brahma and Vishnu, they both get into a conflict that who is great. And then to resolve that conflict, Shiva appears in the form of a pillar of light in between them, where there is no beginning and ending. And then from that the pillar of light, the Kanti Stambham, a voice echoes, and then it says that, Brahma, Vishnu. So if you want to find out who is great, find the beginning and ending of this the linga, and then whoever can find it, they are the great people. And then Vishnu, in the form of a Varaha, like board, he goes down, he digs into ground and to find the beginning of this the Kanti Stambham. And then Brahma, in the form of a Hamsa, swan, he moves upwards to find the end of the Jyotirlinga. And then Vishnu soon realizes after he crosses Patalam, he realizes that there is no beginning, and then and then he comes back, and then he asks for forgiveness. Brahma, when he is going upwards, he sees a flower that is falling from top. It is Mogalipu, also called as Ketaki Pushpam, and he sees that, and then he asks the flower that where it is falling from. And the flower says, it is falling from a long time, and then it has no clue that, where this pillar, the pillar of light ends. And then Brahma and the flower, they both talk, and then Brahma says, okay, let's go and tell, I'm going to tell them that I found the end of this pillar, and then you provide me, you agree to it. And then they both come down, and then they tell Shiva that, they found the end of the pillar. And then Shiva, he gets angry, and then he curses Brahma that no one in this on this loka will worship Brahma as an idol, and there won't be any temple for him. So that's how he gets the curse. So usually you don't really see and also Shiva also cuts Mogalipu, the Ketaki Pushpam, that it won't be used in puja. So this is the first appearance of linga, and then in Shiva Purana it is said to be in Arunachalam, the Agni Lingam. And then we also see the Jyotirlingas. There are Dwadasa Jyotirlingas across India. So the first one in the south is like it starts with Rameswaram and then it move on. So wherever you see these pillar of light, they are the Jyotirlingas. They are Swayambhulingas. No one did the Pratishtha. And then Kedarnath you see up north. And then coming to Vishnu Purana, when Brahma was doing the creation, one day Rudra appears from his forehead, and then that Rudra separates into 11 Rudras. So these are the Ekadasa Rudras. And then the internal Shiva's Tattvam, like Shiva Tattvam, is divided into Panchabhuta Lingas. So you see them, the temples for Panchabhuta Lingas in southern India. So these are the pointers. So this is the India map, and then this is you see the pink pointers, they are the Panchabhuta Lingas. So you see Agni Lingam in Arunachalam, Jambukeswara Lingam, which is water, Kalahastiswara has the air Vayu Lingam, and then Ekambareswara temple in Kanchivaram has the Prithvi Lingam, which is clay, and then Chidambaram temple has the Akasa Lingam. So these are the Panchabhuta Lingas. So when you visit a Jyotirlinga, you will see that you get the realization, the purpose of the this life, and then when you go to a Panchabhuta Linga, they are the portals to interact with Shiva. So you get to interact with Shiva. Okay, now let's talk about Shiva's as a Shiva Kutumbam. As you see, the first form, Shiva Kutumbam. When Shiva decides to have a family, part of energy from him comes, and then she is born as Sati Devi to Daksha Prajapati. And then Shiva and Sati Devi, they both get married. And then one day after the marriage, they both go to an yagam, and to which Daksha Prajapati also attends. So Daksha Prajapati, Shiva wouldn't stand up and pay respect to Daksha Prajapati, which is who is his father-in-law, when he sees him, and that hurts Daksha Prajapati's ego. And then then Daksha thinks that he'll go back home, and then he conducts Daksha Yajnam, and then he wanted to pay that back. So he wouldn't invite Sati Devi and Shiva for that Yajnam, which is daughter and son-in-law. And Sati Devi, after listening to that, the event, she wanted to go and attend. So she comes, Shiva tries to stop her, but she really wanted to go. So she attends the Daksha Yajnam. But when she comes to see the Yajnam, no one greets her, and then no one talks to her, and she feels so insulted, and then she burns herself into ashes. So after this, after listening to the news, Shiva, with the anger, and then he does the Rudra Tandavam. And then when he's doing the Rudra Tandavam, he picks a piece of his hair and then hits it to the floor, and then Veerbhadra comes out of it. And then Shiva, he asks Veerbhadra to go and destroy the Daksha Yajnam. And then Sati Devi, meanwhile, Shiva, he takes Sati Devi's body on his shoulders, and he'll go around all Mullokas. And then he is the Layakaraka, so he's supposed to manage the Laya. And then because he's not doing his job, there will be chaos. So to stop that, Vishnumurti, everyone goes to Vishnumurti and asks for help. That is when Vishnumurti, he sends the Sudarshan Chakram, and then the Sudarshan Chakram cuts Sati Devi's body into pieces. And 18 major pieces of Sati Devi bodies. The pieces fall all over in South Asia, but 18 pieces are they are called as Ashtada Shaktipitams. So these are wherever you see a goddess photo like Sati Devi. So it's one of the body part of Sati Devi. So example this is Kasi Visalakshi, Madhaveshwari Devi, Mangalya Gauri Devi, Kamarupa Devi, and this is Kanchi Kamakshi. And then in Sri Lanka, you see Sankari Devi. So wherever you see goddess, they are the Ashtada Shaktipitas. Ashtada Shaktipitas are very sacred places for Hindus, and then especially Shiva Bhakta. And then after this, Shiva, after Shakti Devi body it was cut into pieces, Shiva goes into Dhyanam, and then you see him, we see him as Dakshinamurti. So he's sitting in the north and facing south. He is holding Chinmudra and Dhamarukam on the right hands, and then fire and books in the left side. And then he under his feet you see apasmara. So basically he is very young, and then he is teaching jnanam, like he is quiet, he is young, and then he is just giving knowledge by being quiet. So if you see at Dakshinamurti photo, even for 2 minutes, like quietly, you get all the knowledge that you need to be successful in your life. So Sanak Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, they are the students of Dakshinamurti. And then under his feet you see Apasmara. It's a demon, but he's the ego. So what he's saying by holding these poses with hands, and is like, cut your ego and then practice what is needed to be successful in life. And then the Srushti Sthiti Laya, or the Dhammarukam, the smile in the face and the fire. While he was in the dhyanam, there is an asura called Tarakasura. He gets a boon from Brahma that he will not be dead. Only Shiva's son can kill him. And then he realizing that Shiva's wife is dead, and then he cannot have a son because he is like in a meditation. He thinks no one can stop him, so he is troubling everyone around the world. And then everyone goes to Vishnu for help. And then Vishnu and Brahma, they talk, and then they send Manmadha, like who is Kamadeva, to disturb Shiva's dhyanam. And then Manmadha goes, and then he sends that flower arrow to at the Dakshinamurti, and then that disturbs his dhyanam. And then after that, Shiva opens his third eye because he got disturbed. He opens his third eye, and then Manmadha is burned into ashes. And then Brahma and Vishnu, everyone goes to Shiva, and they say about Tarakasura, and then for Loka Kalyanam, he need to get married and have a son. And they also mentioned that Sati Devi, who was dead before, is reborn as Parvati Devi to Himavanta. And then she's worshipping Shiva to get married to him. And then Shiva goes to see Parvati, and they both meet, and then their wedding is arranged. So, and now Shiva, along with his family and friends, he's going to the wedding. So Parvati Kalyanam is a very grand event. It happens, Vishwakarma, he sets the stage. And then everyone attends the wedding, like all devatas, like Brahma, Vishnu with family, they attend the wedding. And then because everyone from all around the world, they were there on the Kailash to attend Parvati's wedding, that area becomes heavy, and then it kind of shrinks. And then Shiva sends Agastya Mahamuni to the south to balance it out. Agastya wants to see the wedding, so Shiva gives him the jnanam, the Divya Drishti. So even though he is in south, he can see Shiva Parvati Kalyanam. This is a very grand event. And then since then, Shiva and Parvati, they both, that is Agastya Muni in Tamil, that is Agastya Muni. So, but somewhere between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, he'll be there to balance the world. And then that place is called as Dakshinakasi. And after the wedding, Shiva and Parvati, Shiva in form of Nataraja and Parvati Devi, every Trayodasi evening during sunset hour, like Pradosham, they do the Sandhya Tandavam. That is a very favorite time for both of them. And if you pray, like a simple prayer, like being quiet or simple Ashtakam, you will be really blessed. Since we are talking about the dance, this is the Sandhya Tandavam, one of the favorite, and there are like 7 Tandavams that are popular from Shiva, and this is the other Tandavam which is we talked about during the Dakshayajnam, that is Rudra Tandavam. And the other Tandavams are Gauri Tandavam. Gauri Tandavam, again, wife and husband, Parvati and Shiva, they both will do the Gauri Tandavam. And then the next one is like Kali Tandavam. So in Kali Tandavam, Parvati Devi is doing the Tandavam. After killing one of the demon, she gets really aggressive and she couldn't control. So to control her, Shiva, he lies down in front of Kali Devi, and then accidentally Kali Devi, she steps on Shiva and then realizes, and that is how she calms down. And then the next Tandavam is Tripura Tandavam. After killing Tripurasura, Shiva does a dance that is called Tripura Tandavam. And the other next Tandavam is Uma Tandavam. Uma Tandavam is again Parvati and Shiva. They do, it's one of the beautiful couple dance. After that, we in South India, like Chidambaram, Tamil Nadu state, Chidambaram, we have a temple called Nataraja temple for, we have a temple for Nataraja. That is, in that temple, you will find Nataraja doing the Ananda Tandavam. It is a very famous Tandavam. That mandapam is called as Chitsabha, and then there will be like 5 steps, like silver steps to get onto the stage. They are called Nama Sivaya. And then, so this is a golden hall, and then Chidambaram is also one of the Panchabhuta temple. So it has the Akashalingam. So when you go to Chidambaram temple, you do, when you offer something to Shiva, you don't really see a Shivalingam, but when you look through the window, you see just a space. You need to believe, and then need to feel the Akashalingam, because it is space and then you don't see that. So that is what is Chidambara Rahasyam. You don't see anything, but you feel, and then you pray, you worship. That is. And then Nataraja, how he became Nataraja is like one day Nataraja and Parvati Devi, they were dancing, they were in a dance competition, and then they both are equally doing well, and then that will never end. So to end this, Nataraja, he puts sindoor to Parvati Devi with his toe. He puts sindoor on Parvati's forehead, and then Parvati couldn't repeat the same step because husband. That is how he wins the dance competition and became the Nataraja. And Sivapuranam is not complete. We cannot complete without talking about great Siva devotees. So we have lot of great Siva devotees, and one of the one is like Kannappa Nayanmar. So Nayanmars, they belong to like 8th and 9th centuries. They are great Siva devotees. They worship Shiva a lot. And then Kannappa Nayanar, he is a hunter by job. And then, so he offers meat to Shiva every day. And then Shiva, he wanted to test his devotion. So one day when Kannappa goes to the temple, he sees blood coming out of one of the eye. And then he picks his eye and then replaces the bleeding eye. And then soon the other eye starts bleeding. And Kannappa wanted to, he was about to pick the other eye to offer it to Shiva. And then he puts his feet on the other eye so that he can identify the spot. And then soon in that moment, Shiva comes and then takes him into, that is how he gives him moksha. And the next one is like Markandeya. This is a very popular, everyone knows. So Markandeya's parents, Markandeya is born to his parents like he is an Alpaishku. So when the parents pray for a son, they get an option, like, you know, whether a person like who dies at a young age, but, you know, like very talented, or who can live like for full life, but, you know, they are not very talented. They opt for the short-lived boy. And then Markandeya is born. So Markandeya, he is a great Shiva devotee, and when the time arrives, Yamadharmaraja comes to take his life away. And then Markandeya, he was in a deep Shiva puja, holding the Shivalingam, and then Yamadharmaraju, he couldn't take his life away. And then when he tries hard, Shiva comes, and then he hits Shiva on his, he kicks with his feet on Shiva's, Yama's heart. And then Yamadharmaraja, he leaves, and then that is how Markandeya becomes, like, you know, Purnaish, like, you know, and then he becomes a great saint, Markandeya Maharshi. And then the other story that I have is like Godaguchi. So this is from Basava Puranam. Godaguchi is a little girl, and then her parents are great Shiva devotees. One day, every day they go to Shiva temple, and then they do the Abhishekam, and then they offer milk to God. So one day, like one time, parents, they go out of town. So they ask Godaguchi to do the Abhishekam and offer milk to the Shiva. And then she does the same thing, like she'll go to the temple, she does the Abhishekam, and she will offer milk to Shiva. But she is an innocent girl, so she expects Shiva is going to come and drink milk. but that wouldn't happen. And then she'll request, she'll pray, she'll cry, and then she gets scared, and finally she gets scared that parents are going to scold her, so she hits her head to Shivalingam, and then Shiva comes out of Shivalingam and he drinks milk. And this continues for a couple of days, and the fourth day her parents come and they ask like how the puja went. And then she says, yeah, it went fine. And then father asks, like, what did you do to them with the milk? And she says, Shiva came and drank the milk. And they don't believe. And then they ask multiple times, and then the response is the same. And then they get mad. Father gets angry, and then they ask her to tell the truth, but she says the same thing. And then finally they wanted to see, they all go to the temple, and then Godaguchi, she offers again, she does the abhishekam, and then she offers milk to Shiva. And this time Shiva wouldn't come. And then father gets really angry, and then he will try to hit her with a stick. And then that is when Shiva, the Shivalingam breaks, and then Shiva comes out of it in a huge form, and then he takes her away. So that is Godaguchi.